We're heading to the brewery Beak, and this is their Hymns IPA. A very topical beer name for this time of the year, as it's getting very close to Christmas. And this is a 6.5% IPA with Mosaic Cryo and Mosaic Normal and Nelson Sauvin. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're reviewing a beer from Beak. Now it seems like Beak, I usually buy a Beak pretty much every month, but a lot of the time I end up drinking it and not reviewing it for some reason. But this time I want to make a point of reviewing it. So this is an IPA called Hymns. Obviously got their normal cartoon sort of artwork. Usually it's on a white background, but we're getting a bit of yellow in there just to add a little bit of colour. And this has got Mosaic and Mosaic Cryo and also Nelson Sauvin. So, should be a good one. Let's crack it open, get it in a glass and see what it's all about. I do like Beak beer. I think that they make consistently good beers. There's a lot of similarities with their beers. And as I say, I don't really review them that much. But to be honest, I think they're consistently good enough to really be in my top 10. And I think they will be in my top 10. Oh, excuse me while I kick the light. There we go, that's better. Anyway, beer in a glass, look at that. A beautiful sort of straw colour, hazy and thick looking. We've got two fingers of very compacted whitehead. You can see that. You can see that that makes the beer, we're going to get a really good body on this beer. There's a lot of oats going into this and wheat to create a good body. And that always is a very positive sign before I've even put my nose or my mouth to it. I think, well, if it's going to look like this in a glass, it's going to smell good and it's going to taste good. Well, let's see if it smells good. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, we're getting the... Obviously, it's got Mosaic and Mosaic Cryo in there. And there's that big sort of bubbly gum sort of aroma to it. That sort of berry aroma as well. The Nelson Sauvin... I don't know because I know there's Nelson Sauvin in it because it says on the can. My nose says you've got to look for that Nelson Sauvin, and oh, it's there, it is. But it's a little bit dialed back. It's not as big and up front as a lot of the times you get Nelson Sauvin. So that should be a good thing, I think, because sometimes Nelson Sauvin over dominates beer, but we're getting a little bit less here. It's all about the Mosaic with the Nelson. So let's drink it, shall we? Cheers, everyone. That's a really nice beer. I mean, they've gone to a lot of effort to get that mouthfeel spot on, and it is really nice and thick, creamy, velvety smooth. You'd almost think that that was a nitro beer because it's just got a very, very good body. So thumbs up for that. I mean, that to me is better than the likes of Daya, who are renowned for their body and their beers, but this is a different level. That's an incredible mouthfeel on that beer. Really, really incredible. Flavour wise, yeah, there's no doubting there's Nelson Sauvin in there. It's there, but it's it's almost perfect in terms of that flavour because Nelson Sauvin, big grape, gooseberry, them flavours are in here, but sometimes you get that savoury note. Certainly if you get it with a Verdant, when a Verdant make them, you get that savoury sort of spring onion, slightly cabbagey sort of flavour. It's can be a little bit over the top, I think. But here it's almost like introduced into the beer. This is a tropical sort of an IPA. And then the Nelson Sauvin sort of comes in and says, hi, I'm Nelson Sauvin. Yeah, this is the flavour. But I'm going to disappear a little bit into the background, and that's really, really shows how very well this beer has been brewed, because the Mosaic is there, bringing you those stone fruits, that peach, apricot, mango, papaya in there, a little bit of passion fruit as well. Then you're getting all that Nelson Sauvin goodness, the grape, the gooseberry, the kiwi fruit, the melon, then a bit of grapefruit there comes in on the back end. but it's just a really smooth and it's got a really great flavour, but nothing is over dominant, you know, nothing goes too dank, and there's nothing too chewy, there's nothing like too, well, this has got loads of that one hop, you know. And again, usually Nelson Sauvin dominates beers. It's a big flavoursome hop. It's got a very distinct flavour, it's got a very strong flavour, but they've reined it back a little bit here with the Mosaic. And Mosaic is not my favourite of hops. I find it a bit of a strange one, really. It's one of those hops that is, when it's with something else, it is best. Well, I think when it's on its own, it's a little bit dominant, and I'm not really quite getting that. The flavour doesn't quite do it for me. But when it's with something else, it really sings. I think it's Mosaic's one of the best complementary hops there are. It's one of those hops that when with everything else, it brings out the best of those, or it holds back the rest of those. And that's what it's doing with this beer. It's holding back the big Nelson Sauvin flavour. You're still getting that Nelson Sauvin flavour, but it's not over dominant, and that makes it better. It makes the beer more rounded. It makes the beer have the flavours, but they're not, there's nothing sort of, it's not too, nothing too strong, no, nothing too dominant. It just gives you that sort of different layers of flavour. But as much as I'm really gushing about the flavour, the mouthfeel on this beer is incredible. It looks really good. I'm sitting here now thinking, I should have bought 2 of these. And there's not many craft beers that I think, well, I should have bought more than one of those, because there's lots of great craft beers out there. And if I'm going for the sort of breweries that I do go for, you know you're going to get another one. But they drink this one and it just makes you think, I could drink 2 or 3 of these. If this was in a 4-pack, oh, I could knock them back and really enjoy them. This is a really good beer. I mean, it's a really, really good beer. It's exactly the sort of beer that I like. It ticks all the boxes. And scoring it, I think it's going to be a high score. I think it's going to be up there with some of one of the best beers I've had this year. I don't know if it's just, you know, environment in terms of how I feel about drinking right now, because that does bring a lot into it. I've had another beer beforehand and it was a good beer. It's not as if I'm dying for a good beer because I've had a bad one before, but a very good beer beforehand. Now I'm drinking this one and I'm thinking, this is an incredible beer. Absolutely spot on. And say the mouthfeel, the softness, the body of this beer is incredible, but the flavours are also very, very good. Nelson Sauvin and Mosaic, not a duo that I'd expect that much of, but it works brilliantly here. A really good beer. So I'm going to go away and try and get some scores, and I think they're going to be good ones. So scores coming up, and until then, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking. Okay, the scores are in for Hymns by Beak, a beer that I saw on the for thinking, well, Beak can make good beers. Yeah, let's buy a Beak. And it's got Nelson in it. Yeah, I love Nelson. Let's buy that, see what it's like. It's going to be a good beer, you know, I think more than that. But this has turned out to be a great beer. I've really enjoyed it. So let's get the scores. Aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money, and my overall experience. Tossing those scores up, we get a total score, which is, this is the Iron Maiden of beers. It's the heaviest of heavy metal. It's a very good beer. It may even make my top 3 for 2022. Can a beer get better? Well, keep on watching, subscribe, like this video, and you'll know about that when it happens. Until the next one, keep on rocking.